and this is a bit sort of off the top of my head, so if the numbers don't stack up, apologies in advance. Right, say we've got this side here, and this is going to be 10 centimetres, and this one here is going to be 6 centimetres. What we're going to do is use the, in fact let's change the colour first because that's awful, and I might even change the values as well because they're pretty bad. Right, let's get that up there, and get that one, we'll call this one, let's call this one 8. So 8 centimetres, and we'll call this one 10 centimetres. If you want to find this angle now, then what we can use is SOHCAH. SOHCAH. I've done a few videos on this rather than this being a teaching point as such. CAHTOA. So this is your basic trig stuff. Now, if we look at this, what we've got here, we want to find this angle. We've got the opposite and we've got the adjacent. The right angle is just here. So what we need to do is find the tan of the angle. Okay, so how we can do this is the following, and you can just get this in one foul swoop. Check you in degrees. All we need to do is shift tan to the -1 or arc tan of the opposite over the adjacent. So the opposite was 8, which is just there, and the adjacent is 10. Don't need to simplify it, just put it straight in. And this will get us the angle. That angle right there is 38.66 degrees. So we wanted tan, so put finger over tan, opposite over adjacent, and you're finding an angle. To find an angle, shift tan. Or, assuming you've got that ratio. Now, say we had this one right here, and this was 15. Okay, and we wanted to find the angle this time here. Well, the information we've got is the hypotenuse and the adjacent. So we need cos. So adjacent over hypotenuse is cos. So on here, what we'll do is shift cos. Adjacent over hypotenuse, 10 over 5. Adjacent down here is 10, hypotenuse, is 15. And this will give us that angle, 48.19, or 48, whatever accurate you want to be. Now, say you've got this one right here, and this was 6, and this was 20, then what we've now got on here is the opposite to the angle, and the hypotenuse. So the opposite in hypotenuse means we need sine. So in here, we would do shift sine. This is sine to the -1, or arc sine of the opposite, which is 6, over the hypotenuse, 20. That tells me that angle right there is 17.45. So that is to find an angle. What we'll do now is look at finding a missing length. So let's get rid of those. Say we're told that this angle right here is 40 degrees, and we're told that this one is 10 centimetres. If we want to find this one, we are looking for the hypotenuse, and we're given the opposite and the angle. Therefore, the hypotenuse is what we're trying to find. So we go to this one, opposite and hypotenuse, and we say to ourselves, well, the hypotenuse is the opposite here over the sine of the angle. Okay, so you're trying to find that value. So in my calculator, it's going to be 10 over sine. Now this time it's not sine to the -1 because we're finding a length. It's the sine of the angle, and we write it like so. Sine is just here, then you put in the value. Check you're in degrees mode, and that tells me the length of the hypotenuse is 15.56. Now, what if I wanted, instead of that side, I wanted this side? So let's get a shot of that. What we've now got is the following scenario. we've got the opposite and the adjacent and the angle. So we've got the opposite, we want the adjacent. So what we need to do to find that is put our finger over adjacent, and it's the opposite divided by the tan of 40. We're using this one here. That'll give us the adjacent. So what we do is the opposite, so set up a fraction bar, the opposite, which is 10, over, and you just push down on that button. Now we don't want shift, we simply want tan of the angle. 11.91. So that's that distance right there. Okay. Now say, let's change these over again. Say we've got the value here, and this is 10. And we want to find this one right here. This is the adjacent, this is the hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse are here. If you want to find the adjacent, then it's the cos of the angle multiplied by the hypotenuse. So in the calculator, the cos of the angle, you can just put this in simply as 10 cos 40. That will give us the adjacent. See, if you do that 7.6, it's no different to the following. Using it or not using it. When you're multiplying, these take it, but you're just saying 10 lots of that. And in the same way, if you'd written it like so, same answer. So hopefully that's given you some insight into the basic functions on the calculator. The best ones to get a grip of is getting the SD. That one has got no exact answer, but that should see you through the majority of the problems that you'll get.